this is my review of the film The Outsiders. Hold up a second. The Outsiders. The Outsiders movie. So, I know it's directed by Francis Ford Coppola, which is crazy to me. Crazy to me. Because this does not feel like anything like a film one of his. When you think of Godfather. I just watched Apocalypse Now, and you think of stuff about I just think it's crazy that he directed this film, but he did, and I think I read the book. I read it for school a couple of months ago, so it was the most recent book I finished. So I mean, I've started Dune and stuff, but it was the most recent book I finished, and I enjoyed the book. I think the book was very interesting. Granted, I was forced to read it, but it was still a good kind of book, an interesting story. But there was a lot of stuff glanced over in the film, and more or less, not less necessarily glanced over, but just stuff that were more established. This film was an hour and a half, and you could tell because I think when you read the book, the descriptions and all this stuff, and scenes that were so vivid and so important, were just referenced, and that was it. And again, another great example where the book is better than the film. I honestly don't think any film is better than the book. And yet, I love the medium of film more than books because I think the problem is it's hard to adapt source material because other than a film, for the most part, every source material is longer and more detailed. And I meant not more detailed, but longer. And I think that's the problem. Is when you look at Hunger Games or you look at a Ready Player One, or in this case, The Outsiders, you're forced with this idea of adaptation because the script is only 90 to 130 pages, about 90 to 160 pages, and I believe The Outsiders is I have The Outsiders book. Where is it? I don't. It should be yeah, I don't have it with me, but The Outsiders book is 230-ish pages. So at the very most, it's still 100 pages more. But this script, it's only an hour and 30 minutes, so I can imagine a 100-ish page script. So I just think that's why it's so hard for adaptation. Where original films, you can have all the ideas, all the rules that you want to have in your film and in your script. But here, you're literally taking source material, condensing it. Because and that's just what's tricky about it, is because things will get cut, and plot points will get cut. And so and I think that's why I do believe, that's why I'm excited for Dune. Because Dune is splitting it into two parts, which some books don't need to be split into two parts. That's totally fine. But I think what's kind of great about, and I know how did The Outsiders turn into Dune. Well, I get there. Because Dune is split into two parts, there's still gonna have to be stuff chopped out. Dune is a 600. How long is Dune? Dune is over 700 pages long. And so if you say, I think about, I think it was when I heard about it, I think it was a 121 page script. I think I heard that from Robert Meyer Burnett, and on John Campia's YouTube channel, so picture that, but double, so it's still, again, only about 400, or not, 400-ish pages, doubled, still, so there's still gonna be stuff cut, but it's at least better than nothing. And so I say that because The Outsiders was very detailed in the book, and stuff like Johnny Cage getting into a fight, and Ponyboy getting into a fight, and them in the run, and them getting interviewed, and Ponyboy's relationship with Cherry, and so I think there was stuff that were heavily cut out, and so I didn't really enjoy it because I think the problem is, and I think this is why I don't like reading books before the film, is because it's so hard to take it's so hard because you want to see that story, but you don't. It's different, and so on its own, this film is solid, but the problem is, it's like it's hard to look at it on its own when you know there's a better version out there. But I enjoyed the film. It's great. This is like where a lot of top actors got their start. Especially like Tom Cruise and Patrick Swayze. Like this is them. This is their guy. And Rob Lowe. This is where they got their start. So it's kind of seeing like all these top actors like, and now they're like in their 50s and like except and now they're in their 20s, teens even, with the guy from the Karate Kid, and who this, it's crazy, but again, this just didn't feel like a Francis Ford Coppola film, like just from a stylistic perspective, and it honestly felt like Francis Ford Coppola was like not even trying with this film, and it's still, that's not a diss to this film because it's Francis Ford Coppola. If he tries, you get The Godfather, you get Apocalypse Now. But if you just sleepwalk through it, you get this film, and it seems really good. And it's like obviously you probably didn't try. I'm just saying, I think I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it, but the book was way better, and that's to be expected for most adaptations. I mean, it's funny. I haven't read a lot of books that were adapted to films, but take for example, Ready Player One, and what was that film about? Oh yeah, The Outsiders. And I started reading The Hunger Games, and yeah, there was tons of stuff there that was cut out. So all in all, I enjoyed this film, not quite a bit. I enjoyed this film. I think it was fun. The best part was just seeing stuff from the book adapted into the medium that I love, which is films. So it was really cool to see sequences that were adapted from the film, and a lot of the sequences, like especially when were adapted straight from the book, like how I imagined it. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, stay tuned for more videos coming at you.